ज्योति स्टेनो टाइपिंग कॉलेज में आप सभी का स्वागत है बच्चों। ये इंग्लिश 100 WPM डिक्टेशन क्लास है और ये सभी डिपार्टमेंटों के लिए इम्पोर्टेंट डिक्टेशन क्लास है और इसमें टोटल वर्ड्स लगभग 1050 के आसपास हैं शायद। डिक्टेशन स्टार्ट आफ्टर 5 सेकेंड। सर, वी इन पार्लियामेंट आर बीइंग आस्क्ड to endorse the proclamation. At the same time, we have not been furnished with the report which the governor had sent to the president. Now, how can we give our verdict on a matter of such importance until and unless all the material facts warranting the proclamation under Article 356 of the Constitution are placed before us? Yesterday, the Honorable the Home Minister said that this report contained only certain facts and figures with regard to the party positions in the dissolved Andhra Assembly. In that case, what is the objection to placing that report before us? It would not give us anything particularly new except certain arrangements of figures made by the governor of Andhra with a view to advising the president as to the course he should take. We submit that his report contains something else. It was the duty of the government to place the entire report before us for the closest possible scrutiny and the most meticulous examination by members of this house and of the other house, because the report lies at the bottom of the whole thing as far as the constitutionality of the action of the president is concerned. Therefore, I submit that a fiat of the executive is sought to be endorsed by Parliament without telling us the grounds on which that fiat had been exercised. Constitutionally, this is improper. Then, sir, the president also says that he had considered other information received by him. We have not been told yet as to what was this other information, neither have we been told about the source of such information. I do not know exactly on what basis the president applied his mind to the subject. We know that we cannot make any reflection on the president. He is a very wise man and wiser still by virtue of the occupation of the presidency, but I think we can call in question whether his mind had been rightly applied in a matter of such great importance and national concern. Our contention is that the resident has not been in a position to apply his mind fairly and squarely to this subject, because the report which had been submitted to him had been preserved, distorted and false. Our contention also is that the other reports which had been submitted to him are not fully objective and truthful. This we are in a position to say all the more because if the case for the government was so foolproof, Dr. Katju would have been the last person to withhold his report from us. I think that something is wrong in the reports, and maybe the members of this house, having looked at the reports, would have discovered certain facts which do not go to justify the case that the government has sought to make out in support of the proclamation. Apprehending such a possibility, I think Dr. Kadju has thought it wise to withhold this report from the House. Having done it, he asks us to endorse almost blindfold a measure which is described as undemocratic even by certain members of the Congress party. Many constitutional points have been touched. It has been sought to be made out in this House that this is the best democratic step that the government could take. We say this is not at all a democratic step which has been taken. We are supposed to have a parliamentary system. We must have our own conventions. We have got our own constitution, but we are told time and again in this house and in the other house that there are the British constitution and their parliamentary practice which one should imitate. Now imagine a situation of this sort in England. Would the Crown have taken such a measure at all if a certain party had been voted out of office by the opposition? I think in a comparable situation there the king would have inevitably called the leader of the opposition to explore the possibilities of forming a government. Without doing it, he would have never taken recourse to extraordinary measures like this. If this method had been resorted to in the United Kingdom, a serious constitutional crisis affecting not merely the internal politics of the parliament but the political life outside would have ensued. In France, for instance, there are many parties. No party by itself enjoys an absolute or a comfortable majority. What happens there? Ministry is formed, and there we find the president takes upon himself the responsibility of exploring ways and means of finding whether any particular party leader of and party is in a position to present a government which command the confidence of a certain majority in the chamber of deputies. Without resorting to that objective test, he does not take recourse to extraordinary measures in the present case. I say this objective test has not been applied at all applied. One may or may not have certain feelings. I am glad that the government is thinking in terms of the small growers. By all means, give them representation, but let not an attempt be made as though the bigger growers are not looking after the interests of the small growers, because that is far from the truth. It is to rehabilitate and help the small growers. So far as the question of payment from the pool is concerned, the small grower gets the full amount due according to the costing the moment he delivers the coffee. There is a separate method of costing and the whole amount is paid immediately, whereas in the case of the bigger growers it is not so. Payments are made as and when coffee is sold in the market and abroad. Supposing this aid was not there for the small grower, what would have happened? He would have had to make distress sales. He would have had to take whatever the market was able to offer, and he would not have had the benefit of export prices, which rule as much as 100% over and above the home prices. The price of coffee abroad is twice as much as it is in India. The small grower would not have had the ghost of a chance of getting higher prices by the sale of coffee to foreign countries. स्पीड काफ़ी थोड़ी सी कम रहेगी, बहुत कम रहेगी असल में। ये स्पीड थी 92 के आसपास, और इसको जो है वेबसाइट पे लगा दिया गया है और इसको जो है टाइप कर देंगे आप। ये है डिक्टेशन नंबर 61, इंग्लिश 100 WPM न्यू डिक्टेशन 61 के नाम से, वहाँ जा करके आप उसको टाइप करते हैं। इस क्लास में इतना ही, चलो।